Hello, this is Mohammed Zarour, and today I will talk to you about a comparative study on DevOps maturity models. Now, despite the big number of software process models currently available, which have been used and practiced for many years, we still couldn't totally solve the problem of projects' late submissions. And recently, a developed model called DevOps aims to producing fast delivery to customers by bringing together the development and operation team to work. And DevOps is a new software process that extends the agility of practices within the collaborative culture to enhance the process of software development and delivery. Now, DevOps is concerned with improving the collaboration between the development and operation teams to achieve fast and high quality releases. Now, the problem that we have in DevOps till now is that although DevOps is in use now for several years, it is still in its infancy period. And DevOps, as a new philosophy to develop software, is still lacking a clear definition as well as empirical studies that document the experience of its implementation worldwide. Despite the increasing adoption of DevOps, it requires further investigation in assessing the quality of the adoption, as there is few DevOps maturity models that assess the maturity till now. Few DevOps maturity models have been emerged as means to assess DevOps adopted practices, but the reported experience on using these maturity models for DevOps in literature is still scarce. And this is the main focus of this paper. Now, according to this research studies, the available maturity models of DevOps that are documented in the literature and compared between them to identify the strengths and weaknesses of each one of them. Such study is considered crucial for process assessors to know the various maturity models that they can use and are currently available and decide which one to be used for the proposed process assessment initiative they are willing to do. Now, a simple search in the main databases that includes IEEE, ACM, Springer, and Google Scholar was enough and serve our purpose in finding the DevOps maturity models currently available, as we do not aim in this research to conduct a systematic literature review, as because that we said that there is no big number of maturity models currently available or studies that adopt them or use them. So we were able to identify 7 maturity models actually. 4 out of the 7 maturity models identified are documented as white papers, which raises a threat to this study, hence their validity and applicability are still questionable. At this time, we believe that this is a strong driver for more theoretical and empirical research related to DevOps concepts and adoption that should follow this research work. Now, I will scan quickly the different maturity models discovered in the literature. The first one has been developed by IBM maturity model, and as you can see in this figure, we have the different maturity model levels. So the IBM maturity model has 4 levels: practiced, repeatable, reliable, and scaled. And here you can see the different phases, or we call dimensions, for the maturity model: plan, measure, develop, test, release, deploy, monitor, and optimize. And for each level, this maturity model defines the different features, characteristics, or practices for each level. The second maturity model is developed by a researcher called MOHAMED, who has his own DevOps maturity model. And in this maturity model, you can see that we have 5 levels for this maturity model, and for each level, we have different dimensions as well. Now, the third maturity model is called CAPGEMINI DevOps maturity model, developed by Menzel. And in this maturity model as well, we have 5 levels. And for these 5 levels, this maturity model define the different features and characteristics practices for each level. The fourth one is developed by HP, Enterprise DevOps Maturity Model. Here we have as well 5 different maturity levels, as you can see, and we have 3 main dimensions in this maturity model: the process, the automation, and collaboration. The fifth maturity model is developed by another researcher called Bucena, which is Bucena DevOps Maturity Model. This model has 5 levels as well, and it has 4 main dimensions, which are the technology, process, people, and culture. And here we are showing part of the different features or characteristics related to the technology dimension of this model. The sixth maturity model is developed by Eticode company. Eticode company has its own as well maturity model, and this maturity model again has 4 different capability levels with 5 main dimensions as well. The seventh model developed by another researcher, Feiter maturity model, and this is a little bit different maturity model than the other ones, where this model has 63 capabilities distributed over 10 main capability levels here. And here are sample of the 63 capabilities. And this model consists of 3 main dimensions, which are the culture and collaboration, product, process, and quality, and the foundation. So this is a quick review of the different maturity models. Now, what we did is to make a kind of basic comparison between these different maturity models, so those who are interested on such maturity models can have a quick idea about the different maturity models documented in the literature. For instance, if we check the maturity models levels name, as you can see here, here are the maturity models, and here are the 5 different levels and the names in sequence for each level. For instance, IBM model, the first level is called practice, while MOHAMED's model is called initial. CAPGEMINI called it basic, initial. In Eticode, it's not given a name, it's a number, 1. And for Feiter, it has different naming scheme, where we have 10 maturity levels. Level 2 in IBM is called consistent, MOHAMED's called it management, then the following one called it emerging, managed, repeatable, and so on. So the naming of maturity models differ from one model to another. Now, regarding the number of maturity levels, publication year, number of dimensions, and application of the model, as you can see here, for the IBM, there is 4 levels, or there are 4 levels of maturity levels. Then MOHAMED's model has 5, CAPGEMINI 5, 5, Eticode has 4, Feiter has 10. The publication year here, as you can see, it goes from 2013 up to 2017. Number of dimensions also, there's a kind of variation. Some of the models has 4 dimensions, some of them has 3 dimensions, and one of them has 5 dimensions. Now, IBM has validated their model by applying it in IBM company. For HP model, it has been validated in HP company. Bucena has implemented the HARE model in one anonymous small and medium size enterprise. Feiter has validated it in one company called Centric company. The other 2 or 3 models here haven't been validated yet in any documented empirical study or research still till now. Then, if we talk about the maturity model dimensions, what are the different dimensions? As we have seen previously, some of them has 3, 4, or 5 dimensions. Now, the different names for dimensions in IBM, they call the first dimension as plan. For the next model, it is collaboration, then people, collaboration, people, organization, and culture, culture and collaboration in Feiter, and so on. So these different dimensions, sometimes there is a kind of similarities between the naming of the different dimensions among the different maturity models, but sometimes it differs a little bit. So what is the conclusion of this basic study? Now, we found that most of the maturity models have 5 levels, either following CMM, which is the well-known capability maturity model of the Carnegie Mellon SEI Institute, or the newer version of it, which is CMMI. Others have 4, and one exceptional model, Feiter, has 10. 2 of the models also have been found to apply and validate their model by the institute that already developed that model, while others have validated their model by applying the model in one independent organization. It was actually one model that did implemented in one separate organization, which is the Bucena model. Then we can say that this research revealed that more research and empirical work is vitally needed to practice and validate the proposed DevOps maturity model. And this is, I think, an interesting conclusion out of this research, because we couldn't find a good number of documented studies in the literature that discuss these maturity models or report case studies, empirical studies that document the use of these maturity models. So we still need more work on this regard. One model, which is Bucena model, is found to be a holistic model that covers all the DevOps dimensions, and we believe currently this model can be used or recommended for those who are interested in assessing their DevOps practices. So what we are willing to do or planning to do in the near future is to use one of these recommended models, which is actually Bucena model, to conduct an empirical study to assess the maturity of local organizations in their adoption of DevOps. Then we will report the findings and results hopefully in another publication. And hopefully this will help in enriching the literature in this regard, in the DevOps adoption and maturity models, and will also be followed by more and more empirical studies as well. Thank you for your understanding, and thank you for your watching.